Joining us now, Democratic Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey. He's a member of the Foreign Relations and Judiciary Committees. And Senator, we'll get to the campaign trail in a moment. But first, from your perch on the Judiciary Committee, let's get your reaction to what we've heard from President Biden this morning, calling for a pretty sweeping overhaul of the Supreme Court, instituting a code of ethics, instituting a term limits for justices who currently do not have any, and suggesting that presidents should not have immunity, calling for a constitutional amendment to basically overturn what the court ruled a few weeks ago. How important is this that we heard from the president today?
Well, first of all, I don't see this so sweeping. It's actually very pragmatic reforms to the court that most Americans on both sides of the aisle actually agree with. Think about this for a second. Number one, the highest court in the land should not have the lowest ethics laws. And the institution is being undermined as far right-wing billionaire extremists are lavishing millions of dollars worth of gifts on Supreme Court members. And they have interest in matters that are before those courts. That is wrong, and we should have high ethics rules, and we all know that. Number two, the term limit is actually in line with every other major constitutional democracy. We're this outlier. In many ways, we corrected that with the presidency by putting term limits, but now we have lifetime appointments, which creates a system in which a president who appoints someone only when that person decides to resign. And you create this arbitrary system where you often are incentivizing people to stay on for far too long. Giving term limits actually gives some regularity and predictability to our courts and has people involved in the presidency and their elections knowing if we elect a president, they're going to have 2 appointments to the highest court in the land, and prevents one president from having an outsized influence on the court, but actually making it a system that makes sense. And so these are things that I support. Me, Senator Whitehouse, who's been a leader on Supreme Court issues, Senator Padilla, as well as Senator Blumenthal, all have a bill that reflects what the president has put forward today.
Senator, of course, there's little to no chance this could pass this year, given the current makeup of the Congress. But do you think in your private conversations with Republicans that whether it's, sometime down the road, do we think they would ever engage on something like this?
I certainly hope so. These are ideas, again, that don't come from one side of the aisle. People were talking about term limits on both sides of the aisle for a very long time. This is common sense. If we want to preserve the strength of our institutions, if we want to really make our democracy not something that's politicized, but really make sure that our Supreme Court it takes back that ideal of the highest standards in our society, these are steps that we are going to have to take. Because what's happening to the court right now is it's being delegitimized by the kind of politics and partisanship of our era. We need high ethics standards. We need term limits. We need predictability. We need to end this arbitrary nature of appointments and people deciding whether they want to step down or not. These are common sense things that I think actually will restore a lot of legitimacy to the court. And I'm glad the president came forward in a very thoughtful manner on this.
And one more on this topic, Senator. Of the 3 reforms that the president proposed, which do you think would be most important? If you could only have one, what's the most vital?
Well, again, our court should not be for sale. We should not have a situation where Supreme Court members can take millions of dollars of gifts from people that have matters or interests before the court. That is just so wrong. And again, it's going to undermine our democracy, delegitimize the institution. So that to me is very important. But I will tell you, the idea of term limits, like they were for the presidency, I think is very common sense. Having an 18-year term, putting us in line with most constitutional democracies, and something that, again, is very popular with people on both sides of the political aisle writ large.
Senator, I'm supposed to be on vacation this week, but and like so many Americans, I'm spending it at the Jersey Shore in Asbury Park, which is one of America's best cities. I just want to thank Jersey for that. I just love it so much. But I got to talk to you. I got to talk to Governor Whitmer, so I'm happy to be here. Tell me about, you were just in Nevada, I believe, for the Harris campaign. Tell me about how you're seeing the race, what people were saying to you in Nevada, how they're feeling about things, what's on their mind, how they're feeling about the ticket.
Well, I'm literally just flying in on a red eye, and I'm still energized by the feeling I got on the ground in Nevada. I will tell you right now, the youth enthusiasm is through the charts. Volunteers coming forward. We had packed campaign headquarters, going out on hot, hot days to still knock on doors and do the works of campaigns. And people are donating at record numbers. We have the big mo, as they say in sports. We have the big momentum right now. And in a race that has about 99 days or so left, we have got to continue to press that effort. And remember, this is not just the presidential race. In Nevada, like a handful of states, there's a contested Senate race where we have an extraordinary candidate, Jackie Rosen, who's going to need every vote that she can get. And then we have a lot of key House races that are going to determine which way the House of Representatives is going. So this momentum around the Harris campaign is so important for our other races here in Congress.
Senator Booker, you work closely with the vice president when she was in the Senate. There's no chance that you're being vetted potentially for vice president?
There is no chance that I'm being vetted for the vice president. I'm smiling about that. It would be, what a wonderful day that we will have in our country where that might be a possibility in the future. But right now, I do not think there's going to be 2 African Americans on this ticket. I actually think that the vice president has extraordinary people to choose from. Some people that really excite me that I've had chances to work with, whether it's Pritzker or Shapiro. But obviously, I am in the Senate with somebody that is an American hero in Mark Kelly, literally landing fighter planes on aircraft carriers, a NASA astronaut. He's out of this world, for crying out loud. So, and then he did something that he's going to have to teach me how to do. He married up with Gabby Giffords, who is herself an American hero. So she has great choices. There's some that I know really well and know that they would help to carry the ticket even to a higher level of enthusiasm and excitement and ultimately service in the White House.
Senator, we will forgive that out of this world line, and we appreciate it.
He's got the right stuff. Come on, he's got the right stuff.
You're making it worse. You're making it worse.
More dad jokes from Cory Booker.
But we appreciate you greatly being with us this morning. Democratic Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey. Thank you again.
Thank you.